If it's Friday night, oh, yes, it is. Strictly Sports. Hello, friends. It's Anthony Floyer here with you for another edition of Strictly Sports. Delighted to have you with us. And before we start, um, we would like to honor what is Derek Ferreira's birthday. Today marks Derek Ferreira's actual birthday. Happy 33rd birthday, indeed, to our Imperial Grand Poobah himself, Derek Ferreira. And our gift basically is this show here tonight, and we want to make sure we give him one of the best broadcasts, one of the best damn broadcasts we've ever given him. And we want to make sure we get that tonight. And let's pray that there will be no controversy, unlike a week ago. But I promise you there will be no controversy. Well, let's hope. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and watch last week's show, and then you'll know what I'm talking about. So we're not going to rehash it here. So alrighty. So with that being said, let's dive right on in. Interesting docket on this night, as you all know. We're going to be starting. We're going to start off recapping the NBA draft lottery that went down. And we're also going to talk about the latest on the quote-unquote grudge match with Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. Some new news came out about that. Of course, we're also going to get into the big local story around here, the latest on the Paw Sox Stadium drama. We'll get into that. The governor has put her nose in it. And on top of that, a triple main event here tonight. We are going to preview both the Stanley Cup Finals and the NBA Finals. And then from there, we will have our Major League Baseball power rankings. So sit back, relax, get your green beans ready. Yes, because this is going to be a fun night indeed. And we're going to dedicate this show tonight, not just to brother Derek on this his 33rd birthday, but we're also going to dedicate it to, all the families and all the loved ones of those in that unfortunate incident in Manchester, England. We're definitely sending our thoughts and prayers out to you, all of you fine folks down there. And of course, we also want to dedicate this show to the memory of one of the greatest defensive football players of all time, Cortez Kennedy, who passed away earlier this week. If you didn't see Derek's video on that, so this is for all of you, Cortez Kennedy, all the families, friends, and loved ones of Manchester, England, and of course Derek Ferreira for his birthday. So, fellas, let's give him a broadcast to remember here tonight. So with that being said, let's dive on into our first topic of discussion here tonight: the NBA draft lottery. The NBA draft lottery went down prior to, I believe it was Game 2 of the NBA of the Western Conference Finals with the Golden State Warriors and the San Antonio Spurs, and this is the order of the picks. Well, we're not going to get into. We're only going to get into however many picks they did. I think they did 14, 15 picks or something like that. I mean, I know you guys.
14 picks.
14. Okay. All right, MF. And here are the 14 picks. And here's the order. I got it right here. Number 14 will be the Miami Heat. Number 13 will be the Denver Nuggets. Number 12, the Detroit Pistons. 11, Charlotte Hornets. 10, Sacramento Kings by way of the New Orleans Pelicans. 9, Dallas Mavericks. 8, New York Knicks. 7, Minnesota Timberwolves. 6, Orlando Magic. 5, Sacramento Kings by way of the Philadelphia 76ers. 4, the Phoenix Suns. 3, the Philadelphia 76ers by way of the Sacramento Kings. Number 2, the Los Angeles Lakers. And with the number 1 pick, by way of the Brooklyn Nets, the Boston Celtics. Whoa. Okay. But first of all, let's we gotta show some love for the Boston Celtics. I mean, what a phenomenal season that they had. And it's sad. It's sad it ended the way it did, but it is what it is, and they did a lot better than a lot of us honestly expected, especially me. I didn't think they were gonna. I thought they were gonna be a okay team. I didn't think they were gonna be that good and get all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, but they got to the Eastern Conference Finals. They were beaten in 5 games by the Cleveland Cavaliers, and we'll talk more about them later on. But I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, hats off to the Boston Celtics. I mean, I can give you a few thoughts about this. Now that the draft order is set, I have a few thoughts about what this means for the upcoming NBA draft next month. First and foremost, Markelle Fultz should be a Celtic. Unless something drastically changes, the Washington star freshman will be headed to Boston for his rookie season. There were reports that several agents didn't want their clients working out for Boston in fear of being buried on the bench, but I can't imagine the Celtics passing on a player of Fultz's caliber. He's a long guard with the ability to score in multiple ways, shoots the ball well, has solid floor vision, and was one of the best players in college basketball on the pick and roll. Celtics basically have 2 major needs: a consistent scorer that can regularly command attention away from Isaiah Thomas, and a forward center to play alongside Al Horford. That's the first and foremost thought. De'Aaron Fox likely ends up in Sacramento. I like that Fox will likely end up playing with former Kentucky Wildcats Willie Cauley-Stein and Skal Labissiere. But the Kings are so dysfunctional that it's hard to be excited that this will be his likely landing spot. In all honesty, I think Fox has the potential to be one of the best players from this class. He's fantastic in transition and off the dribble, a really good passer, finishes well at the rim through contact, and is a high-character guy. If he stays healthy and develops his jump shot, he will be a force in the league for several years. Another thought, Malik Monk is a wild card. He is a wild card in this draft. As a bit undersized 2 guard, there are some concerns for him at the next level, but he is one of the better scorers in the class. When he catches fire, he is lethal from the outside, and with superb athleticism, he can attack the rim and score there as well. Defense and rebounding are a concern for Monk, but he showed some improvement toward the end of the year in that regard. Another thought, Phoenix fell, but could still get their guy. I'm sure Phoenix was certainly hoping to land the top spot, draft Fultz, and build their backcourt of the future with a lethal scoring duo of Fultz and Devin Booker. But despite their fall from 2nd to 4th, the Suns will still potentially be able to land Josh Jackson, who I think fits well with the Suns. Jackson is one of the highest upside guys in the draft and has superstar potential due to elite athleticism and a high motor. Jackson can immediately come in and play on the wing, providing defense, athleticism, and rebounding. And my final thought, it's a tough time to be a New York basketball fan. It must be hard to be a fan of either the Brooklyn Nets or New York Knicks. The Nets, watched as their league worst record, could have landed them the top overall spot in this year's draft, but instead, that pick will be flipped to the Celtics. Instead, the Nets will pick 22 and 27. While there will still be good players available at those slots, they will probably begin drafting on potential at that point, with guys like Hamidou Diallo, Harry Giles, and others probably still available at that point. Not only that, but the Nets also had to give up their 2018 pick to the Celtics in a draft that will likely be just as good, if not better, at the top than this draft. And for the Knicks, they are sorting through inner turmoil with the Carmelo Anthony situation while trying to determine the team's direction. Do they ship Carmelo out, blow it up, and build around Porzingis, play the free agent market, and hope for a home run player to pair alongside Anthony and Kristaps? The Knicks surely would have loved for some lottery magic to move higher up into the draft, but there will be some impact players left at number 8 in a very deep class. However, the Knicks will soon have to begin making decisions on what direction they want to go. So those are my thoughts about how the draft lottery, how these particular results will affect this year's draft lotteries. So that's all I can say on that. So I'm going to bring in our resident NBA authority on this. Go to MF, Michael Fletcher. So MF, come on in. You heard the results?
Yeah.
How do you follow up my thoughts?
Well, let me go with this. The first five that you said, which was Miami, Denver, Detroit, Charlotte, Sacramento. That was actually status quo. There was really no alterations. These were the guys that were very close to the playoffs. They just missed it. Actually, Miami was raw dealed, man, because they could have gotten in, but they fell out. They didn't make it, and then it was very interesting. Sacramento was lottery protected because if their pick wasn't, I don't believe, top 5, New Orleans would have stole the pick. So Sacramento got to keep their pick there, and basically we went on. Number 9 with Dallas, that was status quo. Number 8, New York. Man, I mean, I don't know what it is about the draft, but whenever a team gets robbed, I mean, it doesn't matter if it's Philadelphia, LA, New York, Boston, but one of these years, somebody gets robbed in the NBA draft. And this year, it was the Knicks. The Knicks got robbed on this one. They should have been at least a top 5 pick. They dropped to 8. The one team that actually benefited from that was Philadelphia. You'll find that out in a minute. Number 7, Minnesota. No big surprise there. Orlando, number 6. Sacramento the second time. Okay. The reason why this was very interesting was because if Philly was not a top 3, then they could flip or swap any draft pick they wanted. Philly was in control the whole time with the number 5 pick because of the fact that their pick was going to be higher in top 5. Philly took the top 3 spot. Sacramento had to sit at 5. So that's why Sacramento got lynched on this one. Philly benefited, and at first, like you saw, when you saw the Joel Embiid, who is representing Philadelphia, he was smiling ear to ear on the first time you heard Sacramento, but the second time he kind of was unsure. He was like, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. When he found out that meant Philadelphia was in top 3, he was ecstatic. Number 4 was the Phoenix Suns. At that moment, the LA Laker fans were going ballistic because they realized they got a top 3 pick. It didn't matter if it was 1, 2, or 3. They won the draft. They were going to get the number 3. They were going to get a top 3 pick. That meant one of the top guys that you talked about, Anthony, Fultz from Washington. Of course, you got to talk about Lonzo Ball from UCLA. Or like you said, there's some other monsters out there that are really big-time players this time around. And this is, without a doubt, the most deepest draft. You want a top 3 pick this time around because with a top 3 pick, you're guaranteed something good. Philadelphia gets number 3. That's fine with them. I don't think they're going to complain about that. LA gets 2. You're in the catbird seat right now because if Boston decides, you know what, Fultz is our guy, that means Lonzo Ball could fall. That means any one of these other guys is going to be your pick. Even though I know the Ball family, especially his father, really, really, really wants him to be an LA Laker. And no doubt about it, Ball is a great player. He's a very good player. And the thing is, he's not coming with any baggage. That's the thing. He's not a troublemaker. He hasn't caused any trouble. At least his son. His father, that's another story for another day. We could get into it. That could be the fight that could start if we get into there. I know Fuego says no fight tonight because me and Bullock both got thrown in the box for 5 minutes for fighting last week after what happened with the Aaron Hernandez thing. But for tonight, or like I was going to say, this is a great situation for the Lakers because now you got the cream of the crop. And then Boston, of course. But with Boston, I don't know. You know, do you really need another guard where you got Marcus Smart, Avery Bradley, and Isaiah Thomas? Do you really need another point guard? That's why I don't know the direction that Boston can go. And what's the one area that was a major liability for them this year? Big interior scoring and rebounding. Don't get me wrong. Al Horford was good. And then you had a couple of guys like Kelly Olynyk that stepped up. Amir Johnson did all right. But you didn't have a big man down low. And I'm sorry, but as much as, yes, it's guard play and it's a guard-driven league, but sometimes you need an alpha down low to get into the muck, to get the rebounding, to get you the block shots. Boston has that for a number of years. During the glory days of the Celtics, and Anthony, you know this better than anybody else, what did Boston have? They had Kevin McHale. They had Robert Parrish. Two guys that knew how to get down in the muck. When it got down and dirty and physical down in that paint area, that's how Boston won their championships. Because, yes, you had Larry Bird. Yes, you had JoJo White. Yes, you had all these great guys. But the thing is, rebounding, defensive stopping, and that's what you really need in an NBA championship. Now, this time around, it's a little more different. You know, it's not guard play. Guard play is really, I don't want to call it overrated, but this time of especially during regular season, you need that type of mentality, you know, an aggressive style, an attitude type era. There's a lot of guards at the top of the draft, which is great to have. But for Boston, I don't necessarily think getting a rookie will really help you in this situation. I think for once, and I'm going to be real honest with you, I think Boston should trade the number 1 overall pick. Now, there's a lot of teams that Boston's been looking after. Chicago was one team because of the fact that they wanted Jimmy Butler. Do you now use the number 1 overall pick as a bargaining chip for Chicago? Because Chicago's at number 16. Maybe Chicago's looking at, hey, we can get a young point guard because there's some areas that Chicago needs. A guard is one of them because, yes, we got Dwayne Wade. Yes, we got Rajon Rondo, but we need somebody else to back up. Or do we get a player to help out, get a big-time target that we can get a big star that we can use for, you know, as a forward, a 3, which is a small forward or a point forward is what they call them. Or do we try to go for a big, a 5? You know, even though we got Robin Lopez. So I don't know. There's a number of teams that could jump at this and say, hey, we want an opportunity. It's really what is Boston going to do? So for me, I think once we know what Boston does at the top of the draft, then you're going to start to see the dominoes fall. But at the end of the day, that's what I want to know. Because I don't think Boston, with the number 1 overall, is going to really do anything. I think to trade out of number 1 and let somebody else take that who really is more desperately needs a number 1 overall pick. Because Boston right now, I think they're set. I mean, go after free agency. They're talking about bringing in Blake Griffin, getting Gordon Hayward. Those are guys that you can easily get in the free agency. Now, and like I said, and Anthony, you also brought up a good point. The number one overall pick gets $7 million right away. But why would you want to be there if you're a guard when you already got three guys already on there? Unless Marcus Smart, Avery Bradley, or God forbid, Isaiah Thomas gets let go. And there's been some crazy rumors by a lot of people that said that Isaiah Thomas should be traded out of Boston. I don't know who these people are, but if Boston does that, I will rip Boston to shreds so hard that I'm going to make the day that they traded Kendrick Perkins look like a walk in the stinking park, for heaven's sake. So we'll see what happens. This is going to be a very interesting draft, not to say the very least. Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, my thoughts on the draft lottery. I mean, I agree with you guys on everything. I mean, the New York Knicks, I mean, goodness gracious, I mean, they get the number 8 pick. I mean, I just feel bad for them. I mean, you think with the bad year they had, you would think they would at least be top 5, maybe top 3. But to get number 8, I mean, to those Knicks fans, I mean, that's got to feel like a slap in the face. And believe me, Celtics fans, I mean, they can feel how the Knicks fans are feeling, because remember, we thought that year, I think going into the draft lottery, I think it was for the 2006-2007 season. We thought we were going to get the number 1 pick, and we ended up not getting it. I mean, I just feel bad for them. And then, I mean, I agree with all the other picks. I mean, the Lakers get the number 2 pick. I mean, obviously, I mean, we think they're going to take Lonzo Ball, and all I can say is good luck to them, because they have to deal with his douchebag father, LeVar Ball. Don't get me started on him, because I will really lose my freaking mind if we talk about LeVar Ball, because I have just clearly had it up to here with him and his rude comments, if you know what I mean. So I mean, and the Celtics, I mean, they get the number 1 pick, and now that their postseason run is officially over, now their offseason begins, and the number 1 question between now and the draft is, what's going to be, what are they going to do with it? Are they going to choose someone with the number 1 pick, or are they going to trade it? And I've been thinking about it, and to me, I think they should trade it and try to get some kind of a rebounder, not just a person who can score, but it can also rebound, because the rebounding, I think, really killed the Celtics in the postseason. I mean, yeah, they did manage to get past Chicago and Washington, but that Cleveland series was the one that really did them in finally. So if they can get one, maybe if they can get one player via trade for that number 1 pick, and then maybe get someone else via free agency, who knows? Maybe they could challenge the Cavs next season, but we'll just have to wait and see. So, so that's pretty much all I can say on it. So, Florio, I think it's time we move on to our next topic.
I think so too, Bullock, and and this is the latest round in the interesting developments when it comes to this grudge match. Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. Of course, a new report came out early this morning. As you all know, last week, UFC lightweight champion Conor McGregor finally came to terms with UFC president Dana White on an agreement to box pound-for-pound boxing great Floyd Mayweather. After finalizing their end of the deal, White said that he would now turn his attention to negotiations with Mayweather's team in the hopes of setting up the fight for later this year. In light of this development, Mayweather said that he looked forward to signing his end of the deal, but insisted that there's no rush in getting the deal done. But now, Mayweather may be changing his tune. Yesterday, in an interview with Fight Hype, Executive Vice President of Showtime Sports, Steven Espinoza, said that though they would be willing to wait until next year if they had to, Mayweather and Showtime are targeting an early fall date for the proposed super fight. And that's what they're trying to do. Espinoza stated that negotiations for the bout were at a standstill and speculated that this was because the UFC was not genuinely interested in facilitating the fight for fear of losing their biggest star permanently. But with White and McGregor wrapping up their end of the deal, Espinoza now seems much more confident in the bout's likelihood. He's not even worried that the biggest boxing fight of the last several years, Canelo Alvarez and Triple G, was announced for September 16th, taking the date that was loosely being targeted for Mayweather and McGregor. And there's a lot of information here, but I don't want to dive too much into this. But even with Alvarez and Triple G taking up the prime date real estate, Espinoza isn't worried, and most people in the sport believe the super fight will do extremely well on pay-per-view, with some even projecting it to draw 5 million buys on pay-per-view. Espinoza isn't confident that the fight will do that well, but he does think it's a possibility that Mayweather-McGregor surpasses Mayweather and Pacquiao as the current best-selling pay-per-view of all time. It's tough to say that because even before Mayweather-Pacquiao, my prediction was 3 to 3.5 million buys, and after the fight, we weren't sure that we'd ever see some event in our lifetime to surpass it, just because it was so big. We hesitate, but at the same time, we have trouble thinking of a significant group of people who bought Mayweather-Pacquiao who would then say, no, I'm not going to buy Mayweather-McGregor. And since you are drawing from two distinct fan bases, it might give that record a run for the money. So that's the latest. That's the report that I found early this morning. So, yep, MF right on cue, MF. Because of course this is all you here. This is something I know you've been keeping your eye on as well. And did you hear about this report earlier today, or is this the first you're hearing about this?
This is actually the first I've heard about this today. So, as far as many things goes, as much as the situation is pertaining to the big mega fight between McGregor and Floyd Mayweather, yes, this is the first I've heard about. I do know that Conor did sign on the dotted line. I do know that the particulars is supposed to be that Conor is supposed to make about $75 million for this fight. Mayweather is supposed to get about $100 million for this fight as well. And I do know that they were targeting, in September, second week of September, somewhere in that realm, because that was really the target date. But after what Canelo Alvarez and Triple G announced, that kind of put everything in the back burner. But I do know that, yes, McGregor's people has talked with Dana White, and yes, they have pulled the trigger and they're all set. And I have heard, but I haven't heard anything about Mayweather getting anything done as of yet with the UFC. So, I mean, yes, there is a lot of rumors going around, of course. Is the fight possible? Do we think it's going to happen? I mean, we would like to happen, but I don't know if there's going to be that big of a audience that would be willing to see the fight, because, like you said, everybody and their mother saw the Mayweather versus Pacquiao, and we already know how mega that fight was. It was so big that we dedicated a whole night for that event. We had Jimmy Alden here, and it's going to happen again the night before we do Canelo versus Triple G. It's such a mega fight that it's worthy of the appreciation, the love, and the support that we're gonna give it that night. So I'm excited for it. The whole world's waiting for it, and yeah, I would like to see that this fight happen. But I'm also one of those where I think I want to see it pen to paper before we start talking about it. Like it's more like what Anthony and you and even Derek would say. I'll believe it when I see it, even though I'm hearing all the right things, and you know it looks like it's getting closer and closer. I want to hear done deal, the date, the location, and then I'll start getting excited for something, because we always get, these big moments and then something falls through, either in MMA or in boxing. That's why when I heard Triple G and Canelo that night that it was going to happen, they announced it like a couple of hours later. They announced the fight. They said it was going to be in September. Then I think it was like an hour or two later, they announced September 16th is the date, Las Vegas. Well, they didn't announce the location, but they announced where the fight was, the date of the fight, but the location was to be determined. We went nuts. We all of us in the boxing world went absolutely ballistic because we finally had something that we were ready for. So until then, believe it when I see it. That's all I'm going to say about that. Anthony, let's move on.
All right, fair enough. And now we're going to get into the meat of the show here tonight. Triple main event coming up momentarily, but first, this is something that most certainly needs to be addressed. The latest regarding the Pawtucket Red Sox stadium situation. Derek Ferreira, just before 7:00 last night, Derek Ferreira sent me, Michael Fletcher, and Michael Bullock something on Facebook, and he gave us a quick updated take on this. He said he was not surprised by the latest news. $132 million hole that the state has, and we can't afford these type of projects. It's either the Red Sox organization pay for this stadium or renovate McCoy, which is risky because it's a 7-month project and we won't know which winner we get. If neither of those happen, it's bye-bye Paw Sox. Mass gets another win out of this, and it does show that Mass is superior to RI. So the latest news that came out, Gina Raimondo, the governor of Rhode Island, and I'll be honest, I actually met her briefly when I worked for the state late last year. Governor Gina Raimondo said yesterday that she cannot support the legislation Pawtucket's mayor has put forward to fund a new Pawtucket Red Sox stadium because it poses too much risk to state taxpayers. Her comments marked another blow to Mayor Don Grevian, who worked closely with Raimondo's aides and the Paw Sox ownership group to shape the $83 million proposal. Grevian has expressed frustration with Raimondo's unwillingness to endorse the final plan and lawmakers' subsequent decision to shelve it. Grevian's bill calls for the Pawtucket Redevelopment Agency to borrow $71 million to fund the ballpark, with $33 million to be paid off by the team, $23 million to be paid off by the state, and $15 million to be paid off by the city. He has said repeatedly that estimates show revenue generated by the stadium will more than cover payments on the state and city debt. In an interview, Raimondo suggested a key sticking point for her is language in Grevian's bill that indicates state taxpayers would guarantee payment of Pawtucket's $15 million share on top of the state's $23 million share. What I wouldn't be able to support is if the city wanted the state to guarantee its portion of the investment, and that's something that would be problematic, she said. Because my goal in this all along is to protect the taxpayers of Rhode Island. And that's what I'm doing, protecting the taxpayers of Rhode Island. Raimondo said it was a little bit of a surprise and a source of concern that the city was pushing to include the state guarantee, which she said became an issue over the weekend. That's not something I could support in good conscience. That's just too much, I think, for us to be able to afford, she said. Dylan Zalazzo, Grabian's chief of staff sharply disagreed with Raimondo's assessment. He said that estimates show the ballpark will bring in more than twice the revenue Pawtucket needs to pay its $15 million, and even if that amount fell far short, the legislation authorizes state officials to take other steps, including withholding state aid to pay it off. Very clearly, there's a backstop of the city's bond by the city, said Salazzo. The only way that I could contemplate a scenario where the city was not paying for its debt service through city revenues is if the state director of administration elected not to take those dollars, he added. Grabian and other supporters of the ballpark continue to push state leaders to take up the ballpark bill before this year's legislative session ends next month, something Senate President Dominic Ruggiero ruled out earlier this week, though he left the door open to examining it in the fall. House Speaker Nicholas Mattiello has said he will not take it up unless Raimondo endorses it. This proposal will have a massive positive impact on construction jobs, the city of Pawtucket, and the state of Rhode Island, Michael Sabatoni, president of the Rhode Island Building and Construction Trades Council, said Thursday. To lose this project and allow the Pawsox to relocate to another out-of-state community would be a devastating legacy for our state. Raimondo gave no indication Thursday she will throw her weight behind the ballpark anytime soon, even after the session ends. I'm not going to push for it, Raimondo said. This is the mayor of Pawtucket's initiative. I think it's a good thing for Pawtucket. I think it's good economic development for Pawtucket if we could get a deal done that protects the taxpayers. He's worked very hard on it, and we'll see if he continues to go for it, she said. So there's the latest on that. So Michael Bullock, we're going to start it off with you since MF had the last segment. So we got into this a little bit earlier. You know, we had another boys' night out earlier this evening. We went up to Chick-fil-A again, and before we got started with that, we actually, you know, we actually got into this a little bit. You actually read me the article that I just read. So reiterate what you told me to MF and all our viewers out there.
Well, not read the whole thing again, right? Because you just did.
Exactly. Now we're just sharing our thoughts now.
Well, to me, and the thing is, I mean, remember when the Paw Sox, I mean, they were originally planning to move to Providence, and people criticized the ballpark, the proposed deal for a ballpark. I mean, that one really got scrutinized, and I took a look at this one for the one in Slater Mill, and I thought it was a better deal. And to be quite honest, I wouldn't mind it at all. But Gina Raimondo was I mean, the only thing she didn't like was about the tax paying stuff, and that's the one thing that she said, you know what, I can't support this deal. And I mean, all right, so if you don't support this deal, I mean, then why didn't you support I mean, this was a better deal, and you're telling me you're not supporting this one? I really don't know, but I mean, Grabian and they're trying to keep the Pawtucket Red Sox here in Rhode Island, and especially in Pawtucket. And if something doesn't get done, then I hate to say it, but it's bye-bye Paw Sox, and that could be a huge blow to the city of Rhode Island. So I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait and see how all the chips will fall on this whole thing. So I mean, we can't rush to judgment on this quickly. We just got to wait and see how it all plays out. So I'll just wait and hear what happens next. So before I really make a judgment on this. So Florio, I give it to you.
Yes, indeed, and just as I thought we had closure to this. Now we're dragged back in, and you know, it's one of these things that, you know, I really don't know what to say. I mean, I honestly don't know what to make of this. Honestly, I mean, you know, like I told Bullock earlier, I can certainly understand. I can understand Raimondo wanting to protect the taxpayers. I can understand that. But, I mean, at the same time, though, I mean, let me just say it like this. I'm not a politician. I certainly don't play one on TV, nor do I have any desire to get into politics. I mean, yes, I know my broadcasting, one of my broadcasting heroes and idols, Jesse the Body Ventura, he got into politics. He made it work. Me, it would be an absolute disaster area waiting to happen if I ever got into politics. Trust me, I know nothing about them. But I'm just going to speak from my heart. Pawtucket Red Sox baseball is something, you know, it's there's a tradition and there's a legacy that goes with it. I've been to many of Paw Sox games in my lifetime. Matter of fact, I'm actually going to one tomorrow night. Yes, I am. I'm going there with my aunt and her longtime friend. I was hoping that I could have one of these guys join us, but unfortunately, they have plans of their own. Not a big deal. I mean, MF has to work, and Bullock has, you know, other things. And I even tried reaching out to our Imperial Grand Poobah to join us, but unfortunately, he's got plans too. But, you know, it is what it is. But point is, you know, it's one of the best things to do in Rhode Island. You know, you know, you can do it with family, you can do it with friends, and you know, I went to a Paw Sox game with Michael Bullock in the summer of 2000 when the Pawtucket Red Sox went up against the then farm system of the New York Yankees, the Columbus Clippers, and we enjoyed ourselves. Bullock and I have been trying to work out a date for us to go together to another Paw Sox game, and I thought maybe tomorrow night could have been that night, but you know, unfortunately, nothing doing on that, but. Point is, it's something that's grown up in my heart, and I don't want to see it die anytime soon, whether the team does well or not. I mean, Pawtucket Red Sox baseball are one of the few things that myself, Bullock, MF, and any other resident of the state of Rhode Island can look forward to. We don't have much to look forward to in our daily lives, but that's one of the few things we can look forward to. And I'm going to have the honor and privilege of going to one of those fine
events tomorrow night, and I'm honestly looking forward to it. It's the first one I've been to in a while. I remember 5 years ago when I wrapped up my longest temporary job that I ever garnered. My wonderful friends over there at my place of employment were nice enough to give me tickets to not one, but two Pawtucket Red Sox games. One of them happened to be against the Yankees affiliate, Scranton, and the other happened to be against the Atlanta Braves farm system, Gwinnett. And I went to both of those games with my dad, and we had the time of our lives. We enjoyed it. I hope and pray to God out there that these stupid, idiot, muttonhead politicians do not get in the way of what is one of the finest family traditions when it comes to families here in the state of Rhode Island. I may not be a diehard Paw Sox fan. I'll openly admit that, but it's one of the greatest experiences you can ever have. And like I said, when I go to that tomorrow night, I'm gonna drink it in, man. It's like the gift of Jericho. I'm gonna drink that in, man. Trust me. And I'm gonna enjoy every minute of it. Whether they win or whether they lose, it doesn't matter. Me, my aunt, and my aunt's longtime best friend, we're gonna enjoy ourselves. We're gonna have a lot of fun. So that's all I can say on that. So I have no clue about politics. I'm clueless when it comes to politics. So I mean, I'll leave that to Derek Ferreira, and because Derek Ferreira knows more about that than I do on any given day. So I just wanted to speak from the heart on that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pray that, whatever these folks need to do, to make this right,
to finally put this whole thing to bed and make it water under the bridge, do it. Do whatever you need to do to make this, to make this a win-win for everyone. Because if you let the money and you let all these petty differences, get in the way of that, it's gonna ruin what is honestly one of the most beautiful and one of the most honorable family traditions about there. Going to McCoy Stadium and checking out a Pawtucket Red Sox game. Like I said, I've been to a few. I went to one with Bullock. I went to a couple with my dad and his friends a number of years ago. So it's fun all around. And like I said, I'm going tomorrow night and I'm going to enjoy it. Trust me. So that's really all I can say on that. So MF, after hearing that, hearing that schematic that I shared, you're a little more into, you have a small minuscule politic background. You're our Law and Order here, so.
Yep.
So what happens now, Mr. Law and Order, after hearing all this?
Well, the problem is I understand why the state of Rhode Island is really cautious. Many of you guys know there was this big debacle with Curt Schilling and 38 Studios where the state was on the hook for a lot of money. And it really was a damper. It not only to the state of Rhode Island, but it really put a black eye on the governorship and really sank Lincoln Chafee's, as president of the, as the governor of Rhode Island, because it was under his watch that happened. That's why he basically stepped down. And, I don't know if it would have been better with Gina Raimondo as a governor, or Alan Fung, or I don't even know, even Robert Healy, God rest his soul, if he would have been able to do something better than what they got. It sounds like it's a power play. There must be something in the language that Miss Raimondo did not like, and that's why she's against it. And, with everything that's been going on, she's been having a rough couple of years as governor of Rhode Island, from the mess up at the agency with computer issues, when it comes to Social Security, when it comes to, just the licensing and everything else. There was like a data breach or something, and now they're trying to get new technology over there, and it's just the backlogs of files is just piling up. And then there's questionable decisions that she's made as governor of Rhode Island. So and this is not good for her at all. This is more of a political move, because she's probably gonna be thinking, hey, in 2018, I'm going to be running for re-election for governor of Rhode Island, and she's trying to stay face, or trying to say that I'm working for the state of Rhode Island, I'm working for the people, and in one sense, she basically just screwed over the mayor of Pawtucket, and he's trying to fight to keep the team in his city. And what the worst thing is that if they lose the team, I'm going to tell you right now, the ramifications is monumental, because the state of the city of Pawtucket is poised to lose almost $2 million in revenue, but for the long term, they could lose over $20 million in Pawtucket alone. Let's not talk about the state. In Pawtucket, it'll be a financial nightmare if the Polo Sox is taken out of Pawtucket. That's why I think Derek Ferrera flipped out and started ripping and saying, Massachusetts is better, they're doing better and everything else. Because let's be realistic. I don't know I understand why they're doing better because, education, everything else is better in Massachusetts right now. And that's because of Charlie Baker, who's the governor of Massachusetts. And he's done a phenomenal job over there right now. Now, and don't get me wrong, I'm not the biggest Charlie Baker supporter at all. So I'm not even going to go there with that guy because there's been some very questionable things he's done that I can't condone, especially with certain things. But that's for another day and another story. Let's focus on this. I understand why she's doing what she's doing. She's trying to say that she cares about the taxpayer for Rhode Island. However, she's done a lot of questionable decisions. The tax on the truck tolls in the state of Rhode Island. Then there was a couple of other questionable decisions she's made up to this point. Talking about possibly free tuition for state colleges. How are you going to get the money for that? So, and then without a doubt, there was this biggest thing where there's $90 million unaccounted for in the state of Rhode Island. Where did the money go? She's trying to fix the bridges. That's taken a toll on money, on labor, on everything that's been going on. And there's 90 million unaccounted for. I mean, who is the Dinkelberg that dropped the ball on that one? 90 million? Come on. So that's why she's like, I don't like the deal because it's too much of a burden on the taxpayers of Rhode Island. A lot of the times, a lot of the teams nowadays, especially if it's a major league organization, they normally get the donations from big companies, from companies outside of wherever they got to go, or corporations or whatnot. In the case of Stephen Ross, and I'm talking about Miami Dolphins here, when he renovated Sun Life Stadium to Hard Rock Stadium, he did that with his own money. And that's why he was really preaching about making the owners pay for their money, pay for the stadium, this and that. And because you don't want to put a burden on the city or the state or the taxpayers. And I get where Ramondo's going. And in one way, I agree with her, but already the Paul Sox were forking over $71 million. All the state had to do was put in I think they said about 58 million, and the city itself was going to put 17 million in. So if you do that and do the numbers, that's close to about even, almost close to even on the amount. I think at the end of the day, this could be done. And that's what it is. If she's looking for the Paul Sox to put more up front, maybe the Paul Sox does that. But it has to stay in Rhode Island. Last year, I was fortunate enough, thanks to Megan Silva, to go to McCoy and see a game for the first time ever. I've never gone to McCoy until last season. And that's the moral of the story. Anthony, those are great stories. Bullock, you've gone to a number of Paul Sox games. I've only gone to one. So, yes, it is a family game. My whole family, members of my family has gone to games and witnessed it and watched it and had fun and enjoyed themselves. I want to have that time. I definitely think to move it out of Rhode Island would be so devastating to the city that I don't even know how it would recover. I think it would be a financial disaster if it leaves Pawtucket. So I get where Ferrera's coming from, saying that Massachusetts is better. I agree with them for the most part, that right now Massachusetts is better. But, I mean, there was a time where we thought the Patriots were coming to Rhode Island. But, again, our politicians dropped the ball on that one big time. And it wasn't even the mayor, who is Buddy Cianci at the time, that dropped the ball. It was our governor, Lincoln Allman, that messed that up and destroyed any hopes of the Patriots playing in Foxborough. I mean, playing in Providence. Because remember, we were dangerously close. I think it was 1997, 1998. We were dangerously close from seeing the New England Patriots playing football in Providence, Rhode Island. This could be even worse if the Pawtucket Red Sox has to move out of Pawtucket. That's just my thoughts. So let's get into the triple main event, Anthony. It's time.
Well, you better believe it's time, MF. This is what I've been waiting for. Let's put the politics aside. We'll address it again if we have to, but I'm done with the politics. Let's get into what I came here to do tonight. The first of our three big main events. We started off with our preview of the Stanley Cup Finals. They are here and they're now, boys. We're set to go. We got our matchup. We got our final two. It will be the Western Conference champion Nashville Predators squaring off against your now two-time defending Eastern Conference champion and reigning undisputed Stanley Cup champion Pittsburgh Penguins. Classic case of David and Goliath here, no doubt about it. Series schedule is as follows, so pay attention because I'm only going to say this once. Game 1 will be Monday night in Pittsburgh on NBC. Game 2, Wednesday, and that will be on the NBC Sports Network. Series will then shift to Nashville. Game 3 will be next Saturday night, June 3rd, on the NBC Sports Network. Game 4, Monday, June 5th, on NBC. Should there be a Game 5, it will air on Thursday, June 8th, and that will be in Pittsburgh, and that will be on NBC. If a Game 6 is needed, it will be on Sunday, June 11th, 8 Eastern, NBC. All games will be starting at 8 Eastern. That game will be on NBC. And if there should be a winner-take-all Game 7, that will go down on Wednesday night, June 14th, in Pittsburgh on NBC. Get it? Got it? Good. Now on to the preview. Why do you have to watch? It's very simple. These two teams are trying to make history. If the Penguins win the Stanley Cup, they will become the first repeat champions of the salary cap era and the first team to do it since the 97-98 Detroit Red Wings. If the Predators prevail, they would not only win their first championship in franchise history, they would also be, get this guys, the NHL's first number 16 seed to pull it off. It's also a fascinating matchup. The Predators have the best defense in the league, led by PK Subban and Roman Josi. Pittsburgh's defense has been crushed by injury and is missing its best player, Chris Letang. The Penguins forwards, meanwhile, are led by two franchise centers in Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin. While Nashville will be without its best center, Ryan Johansson, he's done for the remainder. He's not going to be in this series because of a thigh injury. A debate will play out live. Which would you rather have? Great centers or great defensemen? For the first time, two American coaches will be squaring off for the Stanley Cup. Nashville's Peter Laviolette will try to stake his claim as the best American coach to ever run a bench. Pittsburgh's Mike Sullivan has expertly guided a banged-up team through 3 rounds, establishing him as one of the 3 or 4 best coaches in hockey right now. Head-to-head, these two teams split their 2 games against each other this season, with each one winning convincingly. The Predators beat the Penguins 5-1 on October 22nd, and the Penguins even things up with a 4-2 victory on January 31. Injury fallout. This is the biggest factor of all in this series. One of the challenges the NHL faces is that the play on the ice gets progressively worse as the playoffs advance because of the grind and injuries. Both of these teams are dealing with major injuries that will affect this series. The biggest may be Johansson's, since his absence gives the Penguins a huge advantage at center. Johansson is out after undergoing emergency surgery because of acute compartment syndrome in his left thigh. The Predators are hopeful that center Mike Fisher will be ready for the start of the finals. He's been out since taking a knee to the head from Anaheim Ducks defenseman Josh Manson in Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals. The Predators also lost talented forward Kevin Fiala for the entirety of the playoffs after he broke his femur in the second round against St. Louis. The Penguins' biggest injury is Letang's neck injury, which removed him from this entire playoff run and forced the Penguins into playing defense by committee. Former Predator Patrick Hornqvist appears close to returning from his upper body injury. He took part in warmups before last night's Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals against the Ottawa Senators, but did not play. Penguins defenseman Justin Schultz is playing through an upper body injury. He returned to the lineup in time for Game 7 and scored a crucial goal. Pittsburgh winger Tom Kuhnhackl, also with an upper body, skated on his own on Thursday but remains out, as does defenseman Chad Ruhwedel with a concussion. Excuse me. Goalie advantage. Teams don't advance this far without great goaltending. These two teams have both gotten top-notch performances in net. They've just taken different paths. The duo of Marc-Andre Fleury and Matt Murray have shared the heavy lifting for the Penguins. Fleury stepped in for Murray after the latter was injured in warmups before the first game of the playoffs and carried the Penguins at times, especially against the Washington Capitals in the conference semifinals. Since regaining his starting job in Game 4 of the conference finals, Murray has been outstanding for the Penguins, posting a .946 save percentage in 4 starts. Predators goalie Pekka Rinne has been an absolute wall for Nashville games and leading all goalies who have started more than 5 games this postseason with a .941 save percentage. Murray versus Rinne is just about a draw, even with Rinne entering the finals red hot. The Penguins might even have a slight edge because they have 2 goalies who have led their teams to Stanley Cups in Fleury and Murray. Coaching advantage. This series highlights the 2 best American coaches in the game right now, and Nashville's Peter Laviolette and Pittsburgh's Mike Sullivan, both Massachusetts natives. Laviolette, who won the Cup with the Carolina Hurricanes in 2006 and led the Philadelphia Flyers to the Cup Finals in 2010, became only the 4th coach in NHL history to lead 3 different teams to the finals. He has the Predators playing with confidence and speed, hallmarks of a Laviolette team. He's a future Hall of Famer. Sullivan was masterly in guiding the Penguins through injuries to advance this far. He has constantly made tweaks and adjustments, showing his and his team's versatility and ability to win games in a number of different ways. As great a job as he did last year when he took over the team in December and then led them to a championship, his performance this spring has been even more impressive, considering all the injuries he has had to deal with. He just rolls up his sleeves and finds ways to put his team in position to win. There's no edge for either team behind the bench. These are 2 great coaches. And now for my prediction. This will be a fantastic, fast-paced series highlighting players with world-class speed and skill. As good as the Predators are, and as much as I honest to God, want them to win this thing, the Pittsburgh Penguins have shown endless reserves of will and fortitude during this impressive run. In a close series, Crosby and Malkin have earned the benefit of the doubt. They always seem to find a way to win. Just ask the New York Rangers a year ago, and we'll tell you firsthand. I honestly want Nashville to win, but let's be realistic. The Pittsburgh Penguins are just that damn good. And they are on their way to being the next great dynasty in the NHL. We just had one recently with the Chicago Blackhawks. The Pittsburgh Penguins are on their way to being that next great dynasty. Pittsburgh Penguins win the Stanley Cup, will actually successfully defend the Stanley Cup, become the first team since the 97-98 Red Wings to win back-to-back. Pittsburgh Penguins win the Stanley Cup in 7 hard-fought Shakespearean drama-laden games. this has the potential to be one of the greatest finals of all time. I honestly feel it. Unfortunately, this is one of those times I have to go with my gut. I got to go with the Pittsburgh Penguins to win it in 7. But in all honesty, like I said after our Ranger Roundup finale a few weeks ago, you remember who did I say I was rooting for? I was rooting for Nashville. This is your opportunity, Nashville. Don't blow it. For the older guys on that team, this may be their only shot at a winner. And this may be their last shot at a winner. And for those younger guys, it could be their only shot. Think about it. 7 games, Pittsburgh Penguins win it. So, but come on, Nashville. Do it for the underdog. And do it for me and MF, because we hate those stinking Pittsburgh Penguins. Oh, do we have a hate for them? That's all I can say on that. Please don't make me have to endure another Crosby and Malkin Cup run. Please. I do not want to see another Crosby and Bettman love fest. It made me sick to my stomach last year. God forbid if I end up having to endure another one of those lovey-dovey love fests. Because let's face it, we all know how they feel. So simple as that. So, but unfortunately, I got to be honest and realistic. Tell it like it is. Pittsburgh in 7, but come on, Nashville. Come on, Nashville. Please, Nashville. Come on. That's all I can say on that. So let's bring in the Doc Emmerich and Gary Thorne to my Bill Clement and Enzo Ediolchik, MF, our voice of the NHL. I hope you still have some voice left after that epic game last night and that big old screaming Michael Fletcher moment, thanks to Chris Kunitz. So who wins the Stanley Cup? Do we have to endure another stinking Penguin run? Or are we going to witness one of the greatest upsets in finals history?
Well, I don't know. I mean, this is going to be a very dangerous series, and this is going to be an unbelievable final, no doubt about it. It's just, what can we expect? What is it going to look like? What is the story? What is going to be the story of the series? I think that's going to be the big thing. What's going to be the lasting impression? What's going to be the lasting moment going into this NBA, this Stanley Cup final? And that's going to be the one thing we need to see, is that, I've never, ever, ever seen anything like this. And, it's going to be an interesting final, no doubt about it. And I'm going to be real honest with you. I did a poll about this and going into it when it comes to relating to the 2184 crew. And I'm going to be real honest with you. The majority of people, and I'm being real honest with you, practically almost every person I know going into this final has actually gone on record and is predicting a victory for the Nashville Predators. They believe that the Predators are going to win the Stanley Cup. And that is the most telling thing more than anything else, at least for me, because, like you said, it's the defense, but it's also the sheer hatred that they have for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Nobody that I know wants Pittsburgh to win the cup, except for one person, and that's Kaiser Marie Butler. She has gone on record and says that she wants the Penguins to win the Stanley Cup. And based on everybody else, from Jeff Monty to Bill McConnell to Kevin LaRoche, and these are the most die-hearted NHL people I know, they are all going with the Nashville Predators to win the Stanley Cup. Kevin went in 7. Bill has gone in 6. Jeff did not put a number on the games, but he believes that Nashville is going to win the cup. So, again, It's going to be a telling series. It's going to be a big battle, but the injuries is the big factor, and it looks like Pittsburgh's getting their guys back in time. The Yossi injury was devastating. That's a backbreaker. I don't know if Smashville can come back from that. And even though we do have a fan, her name I think is Heather. I'm trying to think. Heather Connell, I think it is. She's a diehard, and she is pure.
Heather Walker. Heather Leanne Walker.
Yeah, she is a diehard fan of the Nashville Predators. She is very into this more than any other person, and she definitely wants to see Smashville win the Stanley Cup. And let me tell you, going into this, honestly, I was thinking like you, Anthony. I wanted Nashville to win this because what a story this is. Out of nowhere, nobody really thought that they were going to make a big run. Here they are, Stanley Cup final, first time ever. It's the team of destiny. They deserve the opportunity. But now you're talking about a team that if Pittsburgh wins this, that's 2 in a row. That's 5. That is actually now, I think, 6 Stanley Cups for them? 5 Stanley Cups for them in their history?
How many has Pittsburgh won altogether?
Yeah, 91, 92.
It's 4.
It's 4.
And they've won them all on the road.
And they've won them, yeah.
They've never won it at home before.
So this would be the ultimate coup. 2 in a row, 5 Stanley Cups. I mean, you're talking about a possible dynasty in the makings. Now, I know. With just me saying that, want to make Anthony Floyd want to head to the nearest bathroom and puke.
Amen to that.
And I know. For me, I'm sick. I'm sick about saying that. And go figure, the Penguins were actually my original team before I was a New York Ranger. I was a Pittsburgh Penguin fan. The early years. That was Mario Lemieux. That was Jaromir Jagr, Tom Barrasso. That was Kevin Stevens. That was that team. That was the team I was riding when I was first watching hockey. I didn't start becoming a New York Ranger till literally 1993. From 93 onward, I became a New York Ranger fan because that's when I got to see guys like Brian Leetch, Mark Messier, all them boys, and I started liking what I was watching. And ever since then, I was a New York Ranger since that day. That's like Anthony Florio. Florio, you'll openly admit it. You were originally a Boston Bruins fan before you became a Broadway Blue shirt.
Absolutely. I mean, when we first met, when we first met, we used to have some major back and forth banter. I used to say my Bruins were better, but then you were like, no way, man, Rangers are better. And if I had known what I had known then, oh man, I would have agreed. But it was right around 7th grade, right around 96, 97, when they had Messier, Gretzky,
yep,
and all those guys. That's what did it for me. And then we became Ranger fans. And this Monday, MF, we're coming up on the 3-year anniversary of one of the greatest days of our lives, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. I know that day. I really know that day. All right. So, like I said, this is a great series. It's an unbelievable final. And to me, and this is, again, it's a heart versus head. In my heart, I want to go with Nashville. In my head, it's telling me Pittsburgh. And I'm going to be real honest with you guys. I don't think this is going to be a long series. I got Pittsburgh winning the cup in 5. That's how bad I think this is going to be. This has the makings of it being like the LA Kings, New York Rangers all over again. A dominating team versus a very hungry, young, upstart team. I just don't think Nashville has enough. And that's the biggest problem. If Yossi would have been in it, if Fisher's at 100%, if they were straight on, head to head, no injuries going into the final, I would easily go with Nashville in 6 to win the Stanley Cup. But because of the injuries and because of all the guys that Pittsburgh's getting back at the right time, my final prediction is the Pittsburgh Penguins wins the Stanley Cup in 5 games. Lord help us all if I'm correct on that one. Michael Bullock, I give it to you, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you got a team that's been there before with the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Nashville Predators, making it into the first time in their franchise history. I mean, Nashville 94 regular season points, getting in that second wild card in the Western Conference. And Pittsburgh with 111 regular season points and second in the Metropolitan Division. And yeah, I mean, and the Nashville Predators, I mean, they have the best defense in the league, of course, led by PK Subban and Roman Josi. But Pittsburgh's defense, of course, has been crushed by injury and is missing its best player, Chris Letang. Of course, we know about Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin, and but for Nashville, they're without their best center, Ryan Johansson, who's going to miss the rest of the postseason with a thigh injury. And this isn't the first time that these two have met. I mean, they split their 2 games during the regular season when the Predators beat the Penguins 5-1 on October 22nd, and then the Penguins won 4-2 on January 31st. So yeah, yeah. I mean, and then it's all about the goalies, of course. With you got Matt Murray and Marc-Andre Fleury for the Penguins, and Pekka Rinne for the Predators. Yeah, and when it comes to my prediction, I'm actually going to go with the Pittsburgh Penguins to win, but I think it's going to go 6 games. I mean, who knows? I think Nashville could put up a fight, and I think not having Chris Letang could hurt the Penguins a little bit, but in the end, Pittsburgh's just too good. I got them winning it, but I think it's going to go 6 games. So that's pretty much all I could say. So, Florio, let's move on to the NBA Finals.
The NBA Finals will be starting on Thursday night. This Thursday night, June the 1st. And, well, the inevitable has arrived. Stop me if this sounds familiar. I mean, did we really think that this NBA Finals was going to be anything different than what we've had the last 2 years? It's been fun the last 2 years. Let's do it again for a third, shall we? How about round 3, one more time? Your 2-time defending Eastern Conference champion and reigning NBA champion Cleveland Cavaliers squaring off against the now 3-time defending Western Conference champion, Golden State Warriors. Here we are again, guys. We're here and we're now. And we go from a fresh matchup in the Stanley Cup Finals to an NBA Finals matchup that we've gotten now for the 3rd consecutive year. Before MF starts it off, let me give you the rundown of the schedule. Game 1 will be in Golden State, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. All games will be on ABC, by the way. 9 o'clock Eastern time. Game 1 in Golden State. First 2 games in Golden State. Game 1 is Thursday, June 1st. Game 2 will be on Sunday night, June 4th. 8 o'clock tip-off on ABC. And then the series will shift to Cleveland for Game 3 on Wednesday night, June 7th, which also happens to be my father's birthday. 9 o'clock Eastern time, ABC. Game 4, Friday, June 9th. And we will give you any real-time scoring updates that we feel necessary when we broadcast this show in 2 weeks. So keep that in mind. That will coincide with that. Game 2, by the way, I'm pretty sure will also coincide with our Extreme Rules recap show. And we'll also be, and I also have an announcement about our preview show at the end of our show. Game 5, if necessary, will be on Monday, June 12th, which would coincide with a Ridiculously Raw. Game 6 would be on Thursday. And by the way, Game 5 on the Monday, June 12th, that would be back in Golden State. Game 6 would then be back in Cleveland. Thursday night, June 15th. And finally, if a winner-take-all Game 7 will be needed like it was last year, it will be just like last year. It will be on Father's Day night, Sunday night, June 18th, 8 o'clock tip-off in Golden State. And yes, it will coincide with the Money in the Bank event yet again this year. So there's your schedule. It's only fitting we started off with Mr. NBA here. That's Girl MF Michael Fletcher. The Jeff Van Gundy to my Mike Breen. The Reggie Miller to my Marv Albert. So, MF, is it going to be 2 in a row for Cleveland? Or is Golden State going to reclaim their throne?
The reason why the NBA Finals has started this way was because of one reason and one reason only. The health of players, the commitment of players, the heart and the passion of players. And these two teams all season long knew that this is what they needed to do, a collision course of epic proportions. This is the rematch of all rematches. The trilogy has to end. And one way or another, these two teams at the beginning of the year were penciled in as favorites in the East and the West, respectively. Even though in the West it was a little more of a murkier waters because you had teams like San Antonio, you had teams like Houston, you had teams like, you had so many different teams. Where with Cleveland, you didn't really have that many big threats until the trading deadline, and then a lot of surprises came out. When it came to Washington, a surprise. Toronto was a surprise. Boston was a huge surprise. But no team really threatened Cleveland at all year long. And even a Golden State. San Antonio did in Game 1, but after Kawhi Leonard went down with the injury, that was it. Ball game. It was over. The only team that really was legitimately a threat for Golden State was San Antonio. But when Kawhi Leonard went down, the series was over. In my eyes, the series was over. So what do we get now? The two best teams battling it out for the Larry O'Brien Trophy. The reason why Golden State got Kevin Durant was for one reason and one reason only. For rebounding, for perimeter shooting, and for the fact that he can go one-on-one with LeBron James. And that's why they got him on the team. To neutralize, to try to contain LeBron and try to take him out of his game. Then you got Draymond Green. You got Zaza Pachulia. You got JaVale McGee. Because of these guys, there's your rebounding. That's going to be your rebounding power that you're going to need to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers in the NBA Finals. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, when you get these two guys going, if they get red hot, they're going to be unstoppable. Then if Durant gets his points, they're going to be even more deadlier. So for me, what does Cleveland have to do? LeBron, this is where Kyrie Irving, you better step up in the finals. You've been looking great. You were a beast against the Boston Celtics and closed them out when you needed to close them out. Kevin Love, you better step up. Iman Shumpert, you better step up. J.R. Smith, all these cats, you better step up, because if you don't, this is an open and shut case. To me, I think this is the year Golden State wins the title. And I got Golden State winning it in 7 games, because I do believe it's going to go the max. And when it does, if you thought last year's NBA Finals was epic, this one's going to be just as good. This is going to be exciting, a great finale of an incredible NBA season. Give me the Golden State Warriors to win the NBA Finals in 7 games. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Would you have winning the series? Fletch, who would you have winning in 7?
He had Golden State winning, Bullock.
Whew, man, this is tough. I mean, I've been going back and forth on all this. I mean, Golden State, they breezed throughout their postseason series and looking like the team that's probably going to win it all. I mean, and that's why they got Kevin Durant for the rebounding, and of course you got Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and and of course the Cavs. You got LeBron, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love, and the benches really stepped up, especially with Deron Williams, what he did in Game 5 against the Celtics. So this is a tough one. I'll be quite honest. I mean, after thinking of it, I am going to go with the Golden State Warriors to win the series in 7 games. I mean, it's going to be a fun series. This is going to have a lot of Shakespearean drama, and I'll take it even a step further. My pick for Finals MVP, I have to go with Steph Curry. I think he's going to play a huge role in this series. So that's pretty much all I can say on it. So Florio, now it comes to you. Are you going with me and Fletch and the Golden State Warriors? Or are the Cavs going to make it back to back?
Well, I mean, I'd honestly would love to see, Cleveland, win another championship and the whole 9 yards. But I don't know. I mean, we talked about this earlier, Bullock, as you know, when we had our little outing earlier. Okay, let me just get my notes up here real quick. The records. These are the 2 hottest teams. I mean, Cleveland Cavaliers, their record in this postseason so far in their 3 series, they're 12-1. 12-1. Their only loss was in Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals to Bullock Celtics. Golden State Warriors, on the other hand, they're 12-0. Did you hear that? 12-0. I'm almost certain that they are the first team ever in the history of the game to enter the NBA Finals unblemished. I don't think that's ever happened before in the 60, 70-year history of this league. Never happened before. But let's get into this. Framed one way. Unstoppable force LeBron James meets unguardable offense Golden State Warriors. The 2017 finals sound like the sort of high school physics class in which you struggle to keep up, stay awake, or both. Framed somewhat differently, inevitable finals rematch leads to irresistible championship-level basketball. The Cleveland Cavaliers and the Golden State Warriors promise enough fun and excitement to make up for 6 weeks of blowouts and snoozers. And by the way, personal opinion, that's why the Stanley Cup playoffs are far and away superior to the NBA playoffs. Duh. Instead of the ultimate paradox, we're getting a pair of ultimate teams pitted against each other to the surprise of no one. This is the clash NBA general managers expected back in the fall. What we expected back in the fall. And this is what some media and fans tried to hype in the Cavaliers and Warriors 2 regular season meetings. And now that it's here, this is what must carry 2016-17 to a hope for a climactic conclusion. There are no guarantees the Warriors or the Cavaliers might catch fire at precisely the right time for a short series, or the two could take turns respectively flexing and stinking in a best-of-7 that lasts a while but lacks drama. That said, who really would bet against the finals that came within a stray Boston victory of syncing up 2 12-0 teams through the preliminary rounds? Golden State versus Cleveland across 3 postseasons, and in 2015 and 2016, 13 memorable games of rivalry was forged. It's been built from the Warriors' outrageous abundance of talent, along with the Cavaliers' immediacy and determination, boosted directly from LeBron James. Each has the chance to make this era its own. James is making his 7th consecutive trip to the finals, already has been crowned as the league's all-time leader in playoff points, and is leading the Cavaliers towards a 2nd title for the land. Meanwhile, the Golden State Warriors are eager to cap its remarkable 3-year run, the 2015 championship, that 73-9 nosebleed regular season record, a 2-time MVP in Stephen Curry, and last summer's most head-turning acquisition in Kevin Durant with another Larry O'Brien trophy. Each wants, but only one can. 3 quick questions. What's changed from last year? Cleveland added some helpful pieces on the fly in Kyle Korver, Darren Williams, and Derek Williams. Then used up some of its 82-game preseason, quote-unquote, to get them acclimated and vice versa. But Golden State rocked the NBA when it signed free agent Kevin Durant last summer. The Warriors had their own learning curve as well as a 21-game injury layoff for Durant, but they still managed to win 16 more games than the Cavs. JaVale McGee, Zaza Pachulia, David West, and Matt Barnes brought some grit and heft to Golden State's front line. And let's not forget twice, fired former Cleveland coach Mike Brown, filling in for the Warriors' Steve Kerr. But it's the thin man with the wicked scoring touch who will captivate as the biggest addition to the finalists' rubber match. Question number 2. Do LeBron James and Kevin Durant guard each other? It would make for great theater, or would it? The reason we're likely to see cross matches is the energy drain each superstar would face chasing around the other for 40 minutes. Draymond Green probably will spend more time on James than Durant will, while Cleveland doesn't have an obvious alternative defender to shadow Durant. Oh, and even though Durant is the new variable in this showdown, let's remember that he and James have finals history of their own, dating to the 2012 clash of Oklahoma City and Miami. James and the Heat took that series in 5 games. Who are the most likely X factors? Just as a reminder, Curry still plays for Golden State. Sometimes it gets easy to neglect that fact. And yet the player most likely to loom large or not for the Warriors is Klay Thompson, assuming Coach Tyronn Lue and his staff make enough adjustments to enable the Cavs to thwart the Warriors' first and second options. Thompson is the guy who will pop up 3rd or 4th in priority. It's been a bit awkward for the deadly sharpshooter, slipping a notch in the Warriors' pecking order with Durant on board. His attempts and scoring average were in familiar territory during the season, but he shot 32.5% and averaged 11 points in the Western Conference Finals against San Antonio. For Cleveland, with Kyrie Irving established as 1A for clutch scoring, and Tristan Thompson, the designated possession extender on the offensive glass, the X factor likely will be Kevin Love, especially early in games. The Cavaliers seem to go to Love and get from him quick points and fast starts. Plus, don't sleep on the nifty defensive footwork he showed in front of Curry in the final minute of Game 7 last year. Some numbers you need to know. 120.7. The Cavaliers have scored 120.7 points per 100 possessions in the playoffs, the highest postseason mark in the last 40 years, since the league started counting turnovers in 1977. 99.1. The Warriors have allowed just 99.1 points per 100 possessions in the playoffs, the fewest through the first 3 rounds, and 8.8 fewer than the postseason average, 107.9, which is the highest mark in the last 30 years. The Warriors held Portland, Utah, and San Antonio, 3 top 12 offenses in the regular season, to 11.5, 9.8, and 5.6 points per 100 possessions, fewer than the regular season averages, respectively. 18.5. In last year's finals, the Cavs were 18.5 points per 100 possessions better defensively with Tristan Thompson on the floor than they were with Thompson on the bench. The Warriors scored just 98.6 points per 100 possessions in Thompson's 226 minutes on the floor and 117.1 in Thompson's 110 minutes on the bench. Now that we've finally got what we were waiting for, it's tempting to recast this finals as a best of 69 series and root for one or the other to finally claim it 35-34. But once things get underway on Thursday night at Oracle Arena in Oakland, there will be maximums of 7 games in 17 days to enjoy it. It probably is not fair to pick on Cleveland's stub toe against the Celtics. Their loss in Game 3 that spoiled the 12-0 shot, but it did offer a glimpse of the Cavs' defensive vulnerability. If they're going to struggle with transition D now, that will be a problem. Cleveland can score with Golden State, but it might not be able to get stops at the same rate. So assuming Draymond Green stays eligible for every game this time, and since we didn't believe Tyronn Lue's claim that defending the Celtics was harder than defending the Warriors, the three of us see but one outcome. Golden State Warriors regain the NBA championship. At the least 6, but I would not be surprised if it goes 7 again. So my pick, we're gonna make it unanimous yet again. Golden State Warriors, once again, NBA world champions. Simple as that. And another reason why I would like to see Golden State win. I have a beautiful friend of mine. Her name is Dawn Avalar, who is a diehard Golden State Warriors fan. And trust me, if they win it all this year, if they win it all for the second time in 3 years, trust me, that beautiful angel is gonna have a smile that's gonna, oh my, simple as that. So do it for Dawn, Warriors. Do it for Dawn. She's one of your biggest fans. She's your biggest fan here in Rhode Island. That's all there is to say on that. So do it for Dawn. That's all I can say. So give me the Golden State Warriors at least 6, but don't be surprised if it goes the distance again. So, alrighty. With that said, it is now time for our Major League Baseball power rankings. And we're going to start it off with MF since I started it off the NBA final preview. So MF, as soon as you're set to go, front and center with your number 10 in our newest Major League Baseball power rankings.
All right. Well, I'm gonna just say that this one, should I say that this was not easy? Because it seems like these power rankings are never easy. But okay. So my number 10, if I can get the thing to load. I'm sorry about this, guys. So embarrassed. All right, here we go. Number 10 this week, I'm gonna have to give it to. Gotta make sure about the rules as always. All right. My number 10. Oh boy. All right. Do I want to pull the trigger and piss people off right off the gun? because if I do, somebody's not going to like me. And thinking. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Washington Nationals number 10. I know. I'm probably getting a whole bunch of what? Are you kidding me? Here's the reason. And I always got to back it up. 5-5 in the last 10 games. Yes, they did win a game tonight. They did beat San Diego 5-1. But body of work. Final 10 games is very crucial in our rankings, and I can't see any other team right now because all the others are kind of struggling as of late. So, I mean, there's a few teams there that kind of is on the outs. I mean, I could even make an argument for the New York Yankees. I wish I could have. You know what? Do I want to do it? Do I want to put the Yankees there instead? No, I'm not doing it. Sorry, Nationals. Sorry, guys. You're gonna suffer the brunt on this one. Washington Nationals, my number 10. Bullock, I give it to you.
All right. Well, my number 10. I'm actually going to go with the Boston Red Sox as my number 10. They won. Hold on just a second. Let me pull up what they've done. But
you might want to reconsider that. You might want to reconsider this. Bullock, 7-3 winners of 5 in a row.
Oh, I was just looking for that.
I agree with MF.
I think you might want to reconsider that very carefully.
I told you that earlier during our outing, Bullock. I told you that earlier.
I think he didn't see the records, so I think we can say that this was just his bad. I think he just totally forgot about the 5 in a row now.
Oh, I know about the 5 in a row, but I didn't know about the 7-3 in the last 10. That's what I was trying to look up. All right.
Yeah, that's why we're here. That's why we're here to help you, Bullock, so that you don't make a mistake.
And I think I may have, so maybe I have to reconsider that. Well, basically now my new number 10. I'm actually gonna have to go with Fletch on this one, and it's the Washington Nationals. So yeah, he pretty much touched on everything. So Florio, I give it to you.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll say it like this. My top, I believe, 3 are etched in stone. My top 3 are absolute no-brainers. Heck, my top 4 are no-brainers. No question about that. I just have to pull up my my rankings from last week and run a comparison because there are going to be some duds. Oh boy, do we have some duds from last week. Who is my dud of the week this week? It's a toss-up, but I would have to probably give a slight edge. I would have to probably say that my dud of the week is the Milwaukee Brewers. What the heck happened to you guys? A week ago, you were number 2. Now you've lost 5 in a row, and they're 4-6 in their last 10. So Milwaukee, you're gone. My other dud, and yes, I do have another dud. The St. Louis Cardinals, 3-7 in their last 10 games. Loses a 2 in a row. They're gone. And I believe those are my only duds for this week. I think all my, well, actually, no. I have some other duds. Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, losers of 3 in a row, 5-5 in the last 10. They're gone. But actually, you can make an argument for Milwaukee to be the biggest dud of the week, but I actually have my other major dud for the week. Texas Rangers, what the heck happened to you guys? A week ago, we were raving about you boys. You boys had won, 10 in a row a week ago? And now you've lost 4 in a row and 5-5 in the last 10. And both teams are now back under 500. I do have one honorable mention.
You're also missing Baltimore, kid.
Yep, and the Baltimore Orioles are my last dud. You're absolutely right, MF. Yep, I'm glad you pointed that out. Yep, Baltimore Orioles also a dud. But then again, I didn't even have them in there last week. So that's right. They were not in there last week, right? So yeah, Baltimore. They've lost 5 in a row, and they're 3-7 in their last 10, and they're now 2.5 games behind the Yankees in the East. So that's all I can say there. So and I have one honorable mention, and that honorable mention is the Cleveland Indians. I mean, the 24-22 record, but they've lost 2 in a row, and they're 5-5 in the last 10. I need to see a little more from those guys if I'm gonna put them in the ranking again. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. It's gonna be a slight disagreement now, guys. My number 10 is I actually have Washington just a smidgen higher. I'm gonna be real honest. My number 10 actually happens to be my team, the New York Yankees. They're back in it this week, 5-5 in the last 10. They did lose tonight to Oakland, but they're 27-18. They lead the AL East 2 games now over Bullock's Red Sox. And I'll tell you right now, Bullock's Red Sox are in my top 3. I'll tell you that right now. Hard to believe. Yankees are 4th in runs scored, 5th in batting average, and they're 6th in both ERA and home runs allowed. So let's look at what the Yanks have done over the last week since our last rankings, which was a week ago, of course. Let's see. Alrighty. Waiting for it to load. Okay. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Tampa Bay Rays, but they made up for it by winning 2 out of 3. It was supposed to be a 4-game series, but it got rained out. So they technically won 2 out of 3 against Kansas City, the Royals. And then they lost to Oakland tonight. They have 2 more games against the A's at home this weekend. And then starting Monday, they start a big 3-game series with the Baltimore Orioles at Camden Yards. And then next weekend, a 4-game series with the Toronto Blue Jays at Skydome in Toronto. 7-game road trip before they return home on June 6th to host Bullock's Red Sox. Red Sox Yankees, here we go at the stadium. So looking forward to that. So, yeah, tough loss for the Yanks tonight because Masahiro Tanaka was pitching out of his mind. But then, the floodgates opened, unfortunately, and Oakland took advantage of it. They won 4-1. So CC Sabathia on the hill tomorrow. So we'll see what happens after that. So yeah, my number 10, it's the New York Yankees. My number 9, this is actually where I have the Washington Nationals, just a smidgen higher, 29-18. They lead the NL East by 8 games over Fletcher's Braves. And Fletcher's Braves, I got to tell you, they're actually showing some signs of improvement. Even though they've lost 2 in a row, they're 6-4 in their last 10, and they're starting to make a little noise right now. So,
and actually currently up against the San Francisco Giants 2-0 right now.
How about that?
In the top of the 8th inning.
How about that? So, who knows? Maybe within a week or two, who knows? Maybe Fletcher's Braves could actually end up making these things. Who would have thunk that? So, we'll get into that in the weeks to come. But getting back to the Nationals, they lead the league in batting average. They lead the league in runs scored, but they're 19th in ERA and 22nd in home runs allowed. Excuse me. So, let's look at what the Nats have as far as schedule is concerned, or what they did since our last rankings a week ago. And I believe we actually had them out of the rankings a week ago. I think they were in dud status a week ago, but they're back in this time around after a nice win against San Diego tonight, 5-1. So, yeah, remember that little issue MF was having? Now I'm having that issue now. So, but all right, I actually have it up here. I believe last weekend they had a pivotal series with the Fletcher's Braves up at that beautiful new SunTrust Park in Atlanta. And believe it or not, they actually lost 2 out of 3 to Fletcher's Braves. So encouragement. But the Nats followed that up by taking 2 out of 3 in an interleague series against Seattle. And then they won tonight against San Diego, 5-1. 2 more games against the Padres this weekend. And then on Monday, they go up to San Francisco for a 3-game series with the Giants. They're going to be off on Thursday. And then next weekend, they go up to Oakland for a 3-game series against the Oakland A's. A nice little interleague series. They're in the midst of a long road trip. This is going to be a 9-game road trip. 3 games in San Francisco, 3 games in Oakland, and then 3 games in LA against the Dodgers before they finally come home to host a makeup game against the Baltimore Orioles, one of those rainout games they had. So, yeah, Max Scherzer was the winning pitcher tonight against San Diego. Bryce Harper continuing to have a big time year for them. So he's definitely in my running for MVP, no doubt about that. So with that said, number 9, Washington Nationals. So MF, let's have your number 9 now.
Actually, Anthony, I kind of had a feeling you were going to go down that route, so I actually do agree with you here. Nationals should have been number 9. I actually stand corrected on that. So Yankees are number 10. Nationals are number 9. So yeah, you're absolutely right. So let's just Michael Bullock, we'll just give it right to you.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same with me. I mean, number 10 for me is the Yankees, and the Nationals. This is where they should be number 9. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to say. So let's move on to 8 now. Now that we got that corrected, hopefully.
Yeah, we should get this corrected. No problem with that. My number 8, as I'm looking at it as we speak, well, there's only one team that I can actually well, there's actually a few teams I could put here at number 8. So, but I'm going to go with the safe one because I kind of feel like this is where, if I had to say this is where I would do this. My number 8, the Minnesota Twins, 6-4 in the last 10 games. They're leading the division by 2 games right now on another team that Kaiser Butler really likes, the Cleveland Indians, because of Francisco Lindor. But of course, like we said, unfortunately, they're probably not going to make the rankings this time around. 5-5 in the last 10 games. The losers are 2 in a row. We got to call you out on that. Sorry, sweetheart. We have to call them out on that. But Minnesota's done all right. 6-4 last 10 games. They did kind of take one on the chin tonight to the Tampa Rays. And Tampa, I mean, their record's not that great, but they have been red hot lately. So we might reward them tonight. You don't know. They could be rewarded because of that. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, my number 8, just to play it safe, I'm going to go with the Minnesota Twins. So, Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, my number 8, I have to go with the Minnesota Twins as well. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to say. So, I'm just gonna give it to Florio.
And we're gonna make it unanimous. Minnesota Twins are number 8. Absolutely right. 25-19. They lost their last game. 6-4 in the last 10. They're 14th in batting average, 22nd in runs scored, 15th in ERA, and 19th in home runs allowed. They have a 2-game lead over the Cleveland Indians in the AL Central. Your reigning and defending American League champions, by the way. slowly but surely getting back into the thick of things on their end. So maybe next week we'll have Cleveland back in. For the Twins, since our last rankings, 3-game series. Well, they took 2 out of 3 from the Kansas City Royals. 3-game sweep of the Baltimore Orioles at Camden Yards and outscored the Orioles in that series 20-10. But they did lose tonight to the Tampa Bay Rays 5-2. 2 more games, and this is the start of a long homestand at Target Field for the Twins. They have 2 more games against the Rays this weekend, and then they got the Houston Astros coming in for 3 starting on a Monday, Memorial Day. And then Thursday, a 4-game road trip against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. And then they have a 3-gamer in Seattle and a 3-gamer in San Fran. So it looks like a 10-game road trip coming up for the Minnesota Twins. So we'll see how they do on that front. But yeah, good young team here. They're playing. They're doing a lot better than I thought they were going to. I did not have any hopes for this team whatsoever, but color me surprised. So, and that's a credit to their manager, the legendary Paul Molitor, former World Series champion in his own right. So, and a former World Series MVP as well. So, he knows what he's doing. So number 8 is the Minnesota Twins. Okay. Now we move on to number 7. And I'll tell you right now, I got the rest of my rankings all set to go. So I have no qualms about the rest of my rankings here. And there are no ties, believe it or not. So we're really going to party tonight. So number 7, Los Angeles Dodgers. The 1-game winning streak, 6-4 in the last 10, 28-20, 3 games out of first in that NL West. The 2 teams they're looking up at are both higher up in these rankings. Both are in the top 5, but one of them is in my top 3. Dodgers are first in ERA. They're second in home runs allowed. They're 8th in runs scored, and they're 9th in batting average. And let's see what the Dodgers have done since our last rankings a week ago. As soon as this loads up here. I think I got caught again. So, oh, no, hold on. Looks like it's about to load up here. Well, the Dodgers have been playing, fairly well lately. 6-4 in the last 10, and let's take a look what they're. Okay, here we go. Now we got it. 2 out of 3. They took 2 out. Actually, I stand corrected. They took 3 out of 4 from the Miami Marlins at home, and then followed that up by winning 2 out of 3 against the St. Louis Cardinals. And they're currently, and right now they're in a National League Championship Series rematch with the Chicago Cubs. I'm pretty certain this might be their first. This is either their first or second meeting since last October's NLCS when the Cubs won that series in 6 games. And I'm glad they did it at home. That was a praise God moment if I ever saw one. And the Dodgers are currently leading those Cubs 4-0 right now in the bottom half of the 7th inning. So there you have it. I like what I've been seeing from the Dodgers lately, and Kershaw's been doing his thing as always, and let's see now what these Dodgers have done and what they got coming up. They're going to be playing the Cubs as part of Saturday night as part of Baseball Night in America on Fox. You know what that is. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the lead game. It wouldn't surprise me in the least. Tomorrow night they'll be playing against the Cubs on Baseball Night in America, which is the Saturday night baseball game on Fox. And then again on Sunday, but I don't think it's Sunday night baseball. No, it's a matinee. And then they go to St. Louis for a 3-game series with the Cardinals. Actually, it's a 4-game series with the Cardinals. I stand corrected. and then starting Thursday, a 3-game series with next Friday rather, a 3-game series with the Milwaukee Brewers at Miller Park, and then they come home on Monday, June 5th, to host the Washington Nationals. So, yeah, looks like it's going to be 2 in a row now for the Dodgers, unless, of course, the Cubs, get going again. So that's all I can say there. So number 7 is the Los Angeles Dodgers. So do we agree with that, MF, or do you have somebody else?
Well, Anthony, I kind of feel like the Dodgers would be the perfect team here that I would think of, and all right, yeah, I could see that. I don't have much of an argument here, so no, I agree with that. I'll probably see you halfway there and give you the LA Dodgers. So yeah, Dodgers number 7 is what you said. Yeah, Dodgers good enough for me. So yep. Mike Bullock, what says you?
Dodgers at 7. I totally agree with everyone here. So let's move on to number 6.
All right, number 6. I guess I get to lead it off, and I'm going to give it to the Houston Astros. 33-16. According to this, on paper, they are actually the best team in baseball right now. Normally, we go by the records, but the last 10 does hold a lot of weight, probably a little more than some others. But I like what Houston's been doing lately. They have caught fire at the right time. Now they're not the biggest. They're not running away completely. What's been happening is the teams that we thought were going to be good have not been good. That's Texas. That's the Angels. They've dropped so bad lately that they're making Houston look great. Right now, they are up by 9 games in the division, and as a matter of fact, that is the other than the Washington Nationals, they actually have the largest lead in the divisional race right now. They got the biggest lead at 9 games. Because Minnesota's only up by 2, the Yankees are up by 2 on the Red Sox, and basically Houston's lapping the AL West by 9. Then you got Oakland by 10 and Seattle by 12. I mean, I think it's just a lot of good luck that's happening for them. A lot of good, what I call a lot of good juju. It's been going around in Houston, but they definitely got the juju going. They got some good vibes going over there. So yeah, give me the Houston Astros. They deserve it. They're there. So Bullock, I give it to you.
All right, my number 6. I agree. I mean, it is the Houston Astros. I mean, yes, I mean they do have the best record, but we have to go by the body of work with the just Fletcher that Fletcher just mentioned in the last 10 games, and I mean, if we were doing these power rankings based on records, no doubt the Astros would be number 1, but we have to go by the body of work. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. So Florio, it's yours.
Make it unanimous. Houston Astros number 6, winners of 2 in a row, 6-4 in the last 10 games. Since our last power rankings, they were swept at home by the Cleveland Indians, but then they made up for it by winning 3 out of 4 at home against the Detroit Tigers, and then so far so good against the Baltimore Orioles. They won against them tonight 2-0. So they have 2 more games against the Orioles this weekend, of course. Tomorrow night, that will be a part of Baseball Night in America, and we're actually going to be getting that game, guys, on our Fox affiliate, Fox Providence, tomorrow night. So that's something to look forward to there. As the Stros continue their winning ways and the Orioles continue to go the wrong way, as Tony Reali would say on Around the Horn. They're going the wrong way, and the Astros are going the right way. So, great body of work for the Houston Astros. They're second in team ERA. Only the Dodgers have a better ERA, and really loving. I love that pitching staff. You know, Dallas Keuchel and Lance McCullers and of course those two young studs who are leading the way right now, Jose Altuve and Carlos Correa, and let's not forget about the wily veteran and Carlos Beltran, who's still doing things at a high level, like he was doing back in 04 and 05. Those memorable postseason runs the Astros had. So, they keep doing what they're doing this year. Who knows? Houston might actually be on the cusp of that again. So, second in ERA, sixth in runs scored, seventh in batting average, 20th in home runs allowed. I did forget to mention that. And upcoming schedule, of course, 2 more against the Orioles this weekend, and then they go up to Minnesota for a big 3-game series with the Twins. They're off on Thursday, and then a 3-game series against their cross-state rivals, the Texas Rangers. And this is going to be a long road trip, 10-game road trip for the Astros starting Monday night. 3 in Minnesota, 3 in Texas, and then 4 in Kansas City before they return home on June 9th to host their other division rival, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. So there you go. That's all I can say there. So you guys made all the arguments. So Houston Astros are number 6. So let's move on to our top 5. And in my top 5, starting things off, it's going to be the Colorado Rockies. Starting it off. They on a 1-game winning streak. They're 7-3 in their last 10 games, 32-18, which is by percentage points the best record in the National League. 32-18. I mean, they were. I'll tell you right now. At the start of this week, they were teetering on number 1 status because they were playing really good ball. But then a bad loss to, I believe it was Philadelphia of all teams. Because the Phillies, let's face it, meh team. And, well, here's the Rockies' numbers. 2nd in runs scored. They're 5th in batting average, 6th in home runs allowed, 13th in ERA. And, let's see what they've done since our last rankings. I mean, if not for that one little stumble, this team would have been on the verge of number 1 status. They won 2 out of 3 from the Cincinnati Reds in Cincinnati. Took 3 out of 4 from Philadelphia in Philadelphia, but a bad loss last night really hurt them. But they made up for it with a 10-0 pounding of St. Louis at home. You can make an argument that they should be number 1, but there are other teams playing some really good ball right now. 2 more games against the Cardinals this weekend, and then they have one of those unique 4-game series interleague with the Seattle Mariners. First 2 are at home on Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday and Thursday they'll be going to Seattle, and then Friday they go up to San Diego for a 3-game series against the Padres. So yeah, very impressed with the Colorado Rockies' body of work. No question about it in my mind. Really loving this team's body of work right now. That mainly because of the offense, but LeMahieu and Arenado and a young man who I think has a tremendous future ahead of him. Watch out for this name, Charlie Blackmon. He has been unbelievable as of late. So with that being said, number 5, Colorado Rockies. MF, what says you?
Agreed. Colorado, number 5. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I agree. Colorado Rockies are my number 5 as well. So let's move into number 4.
All right, number 4. We have a minor dilemma. Minor. Because this is where the body of work is. Both teams are 7-3. Both teams have won 3 in a row. But this is where the overall record actually comes into play. And because of that, my number 4 is the Tampa Bay Rays, and just barely in. 26-25, 7-3 in the last 10 games, winners of 3 in a row, including a win over the aforementioned Minnesota Twins. They won 5-2. This is a very crucial moment for this team, and Tampa. I mean, if Tampa starts, because realistically, they're not statistically dead. They're 4 out of the divisional lead because the Yankees have been struggling lately. Baltimore has been struggling mightily. And Tampa's gotten hot as of late. And all of a sudden, not only are they looking at division, but they're also looking at the wild card. They're only a half a game out the lead. So, I mean, if you're Tampa, you're liking what you're looking at right now. You got yourself an opportunity. There's definitely some chances here. You keep winning, you keep going up that ladder. Maybe a divisional title is not in the reach, but definitely wild card. And if you can get in one of those 2 spots, man, you're in golden spot. You're in a good shape. So, for me, number 4, Tampa Rays. Bullock is yours.
Yeah, my number 4 is the Tampa Bay Rays as well. So there's nothing else to say. Flory, what's yours?
Make it unanimous. Tampa Bay Rays, number 4. Winners of 3 in a row, 7-3 in the last 10 games. Very good body of work. Just bear with me a moment. The source that I use has been a real pain so far during these rankings. And okay, Tampa Bay Rays are 5th in ERA. They're 6th in home runs allowed. They're 11th in runs scored, 17th in batting average. And let's see what the Rays have done since our last rankings. Here they are. They took 2 out of 3 from the New York Yankees. They split a 4-game series 2-2 with the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. They won tonight in Minnesota. They lost the first 2 games of that Angels series, and then they salvaged the other 2 games. Beat Minnesota tonight. They have 2 more games against the Twins this weekend, and then they go up to Texas for a 3-game series with the Rangers. Off on Thursday, and then on Friday they start a 3-game series in Seattle against the Mariners. So yeah, very good body of work indeed for Tampa Bay. So with that being said, Tampa Bay Rays are number 4 in these power rankings. And now we're going to move on to number 3. And my number 3, your reigning, defending, undisputed World Series champion Chicago Cubs. They are number 3. They are back in first in the NL Central, 25-21. They've also won 3 in a row. They're 7-3 in their last 10 games. And MF got this one exactly right. Divisional standing is more my reasoning. Tampa's 4th in their division. The Cubs lead their division. No contest there. Cubs are 8th in ERA. They're 12th in runs scored. They're 16th in home runs allowed, 19th in batting average. I know they've been off to a slow start. I know Matt Ward's probably, freaking out right now, but it's a long way to go, Ward. I mean, I know they're not as good as they were at this time last year when they were blowing everybody out, but, it is what it is. So they were supposed to have a 3-game series with Milwaukee, but the second game of that got rained out. No makeup date was announced. So they went 1-1. They lost the first game, but they won the second game. They took 3 out of 4 from the San Francisco Giants. But right now, not going well against the Dodgers right now. They're losing 4-0 in the bottom of the 8th. 2 more games against the Dodgers this weekend, and then they go up to San Diego for a 3-game series with the Padres, off on Thursday. And then guess who comes to town next week? Their most hated rival, the St. Louis Cardinals, for a 3-game series, including Sunday Night Baseball next Sunday night, June 4th. So Bullock's going to have some major appointment television next Sunday night with that, Game 2 of the NBA Finals, and the Raw exclusive Extreme Rules event that will be going down. So, yeah, Cubs are back in it now. They still got some work to do, but, their core players are finally getting going. Bryant, Rizzo, and the rest of those guys, and the pitching staff, Arrieta, Hendricks. I mean, ever since they let Chapman go to the Yankees, the bullpen is what really hurts them. They need work on that, but thankfully they're back in the thick of things, and I'm glad to see them finally playing like the champs that they were last year. So hopefully they can keep it up, but it's not looking good right now. So for right now, number 3, no doubt about it, it's your reigning and defending undisputed champion Chicago Cubs. So MF, how about it?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I got to go Chicago Cubs as well. Bullock, it's yours.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Chicago Cubs are number 3. So let's move into number 2.
And MF starts it off, and Michael Bullock, I think you're going to like this.
Yes. Number 2, the Boston Red Sox. No doubt about it. I mean, when you win 5 in a row, you're 2 games behind the Yankees, and you currently hold one of the 2 wildcard spots. You're in the lead by a half a game. That puts you in a very, very good position. You are currently the wildcard leader. The second wildcard spot is actually currently held by the Baltimore Orioles. The Orioles got the second wild card spot as of right now. So, I mean, this is a very good position. Boston's been red hot lately. No arguments here. A big 3-0 win over Seattle tonight. Basically a shutout victory, and now they got to deal with them for the next 2 nights, 2 afternoon games, one at 4:05 tomorrow, the other one at 1:30 on 1:30 on Sunday. So, maybe Boston's, they're turning the tide a little bit. They're starting to get red hot. If they keep this up, look out. So we'll wait and see what happens. So, yeah. Mike Bullock, is yours.
Boston Red Sox, number 2. Florio, what's yours?
Yep, it is the local 9. It is the Boston Red Sox, number 2. Winners of 5 in a row, 7-3 in the last 10 games. They are second in batting average. They're 9th in ERA, 13th in runs scored, 16th in home runs allowed. Since our last rankings, they did lose. Well, what a difference a week makes. I mean, last week they lost 3 out of 4 to the Oakland Athletics in Oakland, but they salvaged the final game of that 4-game series, a 12-3 beatdown in Oakland last Sunday. And then a 3-game sweep of the Texas Rangers, outscoring them 26-12 in those 3 games. And then followed that up with a 3-0 win over the Seattle Mariners tonight. 2 more games against the Mariners this weekend. And then Monday, they start a long road trip. They started off with a 3-game trip in Chicago against the White Sox at U.S. Cellular Field. And then Thursday, a 4-game series with the Baltimore Orioles at Camden Yards. And then they follow that up with a 3-game road trip to the Bronx, Yankee Stadium, against the New York Yankees. Huge ranking. Well, in 2 weeks, there'll be some major power ranking and AL East implications in that one. So a 10-game road trip for the Red Sox after they finish this 2-game, after they get the next 2 against Seattle out of the way. And then they'll come back home to Fenway on June 9th to host the Detroit Tigers. So I don't think they'll have to worry about the White Sox much, but of course, Chris Sale will be coming home to the White Sox for the first time, and David Price will actually be starting for the Red Sox against Chicago on Monday, returning from injury. So I know that's got to be good news to Bullocks. So we'll see what happens. So number 2, the local 9, the Boston Red Sox. And now we go to number 1. And boy, howdy, has this team been on fire as of late. So, Michael Bullock, do you want to do the honors or do you want me to do the honors? All right, I guess I'll do the honors.
Oh, I'll do the honors.
You know who our number 1 is, right?
Oh, yes, it is.
All right.
The number 1 team in the power rankings. I can't believe I'm saying this. It's the Arizona Diamondbacks. Yes, the Arizona Diamondbacks are the number 1 team in the power rankings for this week. I mean, they won 5 in a row, but look at this. 9-1 in their last 10 games. I mean, my goodness. I mean, this team's just been playing some very good baseball as of late. Let's see what they've done since our last power ranking. If I could get it up here. Of course, they did beat the Milwaukee Brewers 4-2 tonight. So that certainly is going to help them. And I'm sorry, I'm just trying to find it for the trying to find their schedule here. I think I might have it here. Give me just a minute here. Oh, there we go. Since our last power rankings last week, of course, they took 2 out of 3 from the San Diego Padres. They swept the Chicago White Sox. Of course, so far they've won the first 2 games of their 4-game set against the Milwaukee Brewers, a 4-2 victory. Of course, the schedule coming up for them, 2 more against the Brewers. And then starting Monday, they begin a 3-game set against the Pittsburgh Pirates. And then next weekend, it's a 4-game set against the Miami Marlins. So, of course, Owings, of course, leads the team with a 324 batting average. Lamb, of course, leads the team in homers and RBIs. And when it comes to the pitching, Zach Greinke, what can you say about him? He's really had a bounce back year with 6 wins and a 2.82 ERA. And Fernando Rodney has 13 saves. So, I've been very impressed with this team. But the thing is, can they keep it up? We're just going to have to wait and find out. So nothing else for me to say. Arizona Diamondbacks, your number 1 team. So, Flory, what's yours?
Number 1 with a bullet. The Arizona Diamondbacks, winners of 5 in a row, 9-1 in their last 10 games. 1 game behind Colorado for first in that NL West and for the best record in the National League. Man, hard to believe. Bullock ran it down, 2 out of 3 from San Diego, 3-game sweep of the White Sox. So far, 2 for 2 against Milwaukee in that 4-game series. They're in the midst of an 11-game road trip, guys. 11-game road trip, and so far they're 2 for 2. 2 more against Milwaukee, and then they have 3 in Pittsburgh. and then that's Monday through Wednesday, and then Thursday, and then starting next Thursday, a 4-game series with the Miami Marlins in Miami before they host the Padres on June the 6th. So when they come back home. So Bullock pretty much ran down everything. So there's no doubt about it in my mind. Number one, Arizona Diamondbacks. MF, let's put a wrap on this.
Yes, indeed. Arizona Diamondbacks #1. This was unbelievable. Whoever would have thought that this team has caught in fire as they have. They've been unbelievable, especially as of late. And they're looking really good right now. 9-1, last 10 games, 5 in a row. They're a game behind Colorado for the divisional lead, and on top of that, they have a 2-game lead over the Dodgers in the wild card. So they are definitely in their masters of their own domain right now. If they keep playing the way they're playing, who knows how this is playing. But remember, it's still a young season. It's only May. So, I mean, we haven't even hit the All-Star break yet. So, we just got to wait and see how this plays out. There was a couple of finals that did go final just a matter of minutes ago, guys. First off, the Atlanta Braves did win over the San Francisco Giants. So Braves a winner. The final score was 2-0. And then, Anthony, you were talking about it earlier that the Dodgers were up 4-0 on the Chicago Cubs. They actually did win that game by that final score of 4-0. So they slammed the door on the Cubs, shutting them out with a 2-hitter. I mean, that's how good this game was. Basically, Wood was absolutely dominating in the game, gave them about 5 innings, only giving up the 2 hits, and then the Dodgers bullpen just came in and slammed it to get the final handful of outs. Basically, a 4-inning shutout, only giving up 1 walk and 2 strikeouts between Baines and Hatcher to slam the door in this game to get the victory. One other note before we say goodnight here, it looks like we have is there a game going on right now? What's this? Chicago. It looks like it's Chicago and the White Sox and Detroit is actually playing at this hour in the bottom of the 8th. And it's now 8-2 Chicago, as Melky Cabrera has just hit a home run, a 3-run shot. So so it's 8-2 Chicago over Detroit in the bottom of the 8th inning with 1 out. Our baseball update for the night. So Anthony, let's put a bow on this.
Yes, indeed. That will put the bow on this edition of Strictly Sports, this special birthday for Derek Ferreira edition of Strictly Sports. I hope we gave him a good present. Hopefully we did him proud here tonight. So we're gonna get into our shout outs now. MF, Bullock, whoever wants to start it off, feel free. Bullock, I see Bullock's already signaled in. So Bullock, you start it off, then MF takes it, and then I'll wrap it up. And I have a very interesting announcement when it comes to future content, a programming change. So before I get into that, let's get into your shout outs. Bullock, start it off.
All right. Of course, I want to say thank you to all of our great fans out there for tuning in tonight. Shout out to you guys for making our shows as popular as it is. Of course, shout outs to, of course, our super fans. You guys know who you are. Of course, to all of our friends from our high school days, you guys know who you are. And of course, all of our news personalities from 610 and 12, our personalities from ESPN, Fox Sports, MLB Network, NHL Network, NBA TV, NHL Network, all the other great networks out there, and of course, our friends from the Road Show, of course, former co-hosts Mary Larson and Megan Mooney, and of course, the 3 current people out there, Will Gilbert, Brendan Kirby, and Michaela Johnson. So yeah, that's pretty much going to do it. So until Monday night for an all new edition of Ridiculously Raw. This is the Phenom. This is Mike Bullock saying thank you all so very much for tuning in. And of course, you know the routine. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it a Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, and enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. And of course, a little reminder out there to all you folks. I mean, this is Memorial Day weekend, and of course, let us be thankful for the many brave men and women who are serving our country on this Memorial Day weekend, and that they've done all year long. And yeah, I mean, thank you for the service and sacrifice that you've given to our country, and we're so proud of you guys. And of course, to all you people out there, enjoy your weekend and be safe. Don't do anything stupid, and let's make this a safe Memorial Day weekend. So enjoy it, everybody. So Fletch, I give it to you.
Yes, indeed. First off, I want to say thank you to all the great fans out there for making the show as amazing as it is. You guys are the best fans in the world. You guys already know that. And of course, the big props, the big love to the super fans, to the fans, to my friends from the junior high and high school days, 2184 crew. As always, you guys are the best fans in the world. And no, I got really nothing more to say. It's just thank you so much for watching this. I can't wait to hear what Floyo has to say for the setup for next week. And until then, we'll see you guys on Monday night. So until then, Mike Fletcher, you know the routine. How's the hand pounds? I'm out. Good night. Anthony, take it home.
All right, will do. And don't go anywhere, guys, because I want to make sure you both hear this. As far as that schedule change that's going to be coming up this week. So first off, before I do that, of course, special shout out to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to make our shows as over as they are. We appreciate it as always. You are the best fans in the world. Of course, special shout out to our first lady of the Wrestling Forum, Dee Woodson, Kevin Woodson, and the entire Woodson family. Of course, Matt Ward, Jason Hicksonbaugh, Daniel Luttrell from the UK. Our other first ladies, Kaiser Butler, Megan Silva, and Lexi Calloway. Our other crew members, Tommy Souza, Eric Carrier, Jimmy Alden, Alvarez, and Rob Parsons. I'm going to save Derek Ferrera for last. Of course, all of our personalities from 6, 10, and 12. ESPN, Fox Sports 1, MLB Network, NHL Network, NBA TV, NFL Network, the whole 9 yards. My personal shout-outs, of course, so Julie Alexandria, Chantel McKay from the Golf Channel, Kieran Austin from the Boston Red Sox, Stata Sorrell, Lindsey McCormick, can't forget about them either. Our friends from the Road Show, Will Gilbert, Brendan Kirby, and Michaela Johnson, and of course, former co-hosts Megan Mooney and Mary Larson. My wonderful church family and Oasis of Grace Ministries on 464 Silver Spring Street. The spring cleaning is not tomorrow. It's been pushed back again. The tentative date is now set for next Saturday, June 3rd. I'll have more on that on next week's show. But nonetheless, if you need a church home, check them out. Exit 25 off Route 95. Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Bible study, 10 a.m. Sunday morning service. Wednesday night at 7 Bible study. And then if all goes well, maybe next Saturday will finally be that cleaning day. We'll see. So I'll keep you posted as soon as I get any new information about that. And last but not least, very special happy birthday to our Imperial Grand Poobah, the one and only Derek Ferrera. I mean, I am hopeful that he and his had the most blessed of days. And, you know, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't even be doing this right now. I mean, he's the reason why we do this. We've been doing this each and every week for the last 5+ years. He had a vision and he ran with it. He wanted to make sure all you wonderful fans out there got the best coverage, not just of national sports, but New England sports and also professional wrestling. And that's a testament to Derek Ferrera and his staff, the hardworking men and women who run this ship and, make this show what it is week in and week out. And we cannot thank them enough for all the hard work and the efforts they put in, for all the dockets that, they give us to, because without them, we're nothing. That's all there is to say about that. And it starts right at the top with Derek Ferrera. So, we've all been friends with him for a very long time, well over 20+ years. And, it's a shame that we don't have him on the show as much as we used to, but we had him on those few shows last year, and I am hopeful that we'll get him on for those same shows again this summer, and we'll have him in September for that big boxing show, which I'm looking forward to. So Derek Ferreira, on behalf of all of us here at Strictly Sports and the whole 9 yards, we hope you had a very happy and blessed birthday, and we can't wait to have you on again with us very soon. So we thank you for not only making our broadcasting dreams come true, but also for all of the efforts that you and your wonderful team put together, in making our shows what they are each and every week. So thank you very much, Derek Ferreira, for all of this. We appreciate you, man. We love you. God bless you. And now for the future content, of course, as Bullock mentioned, Monday night we got Ridiculously Raw, the go-home show for Extreme Rules, those two big main events, triple threat match, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, Bray Wyatt, and then, of course, that huge one-on-one match, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. Both of those matches are going to be hella fun. I cannot wait to see how those both go down. The final stop before Extreme Rules. Looking forward to it. And then I'll also have my Tony's take on 205 Live and Impact Wrestling. And then Tuesday night at either 10 or 10:30, we will have the Cerebral Smack Talk over on MF's channel, Brace Fan 95, where we'll review SmackDown Live, and maybe we'll have a Mikey's Mindset. Who knows? Now, circle Thursday night, June 1st, on your calendar. I already talked to Derek about this, and he gave us the okay to do it. This Thursday night, June 1st, 10 p.m., we are going to have our Extreme Rules preview show. The reasoning for this, next Saturday night, Michael Bullock will be participating in the Special Olympics State Summer Games at the University of Rhode Island. So Michael Bullock will not be here next Saturday night, and MF will not be here next Saturday night because I know for a fact he's going to be going up to Buffalo Wild Wings with his crew to check out the next UFC pay-per-view event, which I'm sure we're going to preview next week. So that put us in a bind for next Saturday. So I talked to Derek, and he's like, okay, we can push that back to Thursday. So Thursday night, guys, 10 p.m., we will preview Extreme Rules. And then next Friday night, of course, we'll have Strictly Sports, which will probably be just MF and myself, because Bullock will be on his way to the State Summer Games, and we'll be off on Saturday. And then on Sunday, June 4th, of course, that will be our Extreme Rules recap show. So that's the big announcement. Thursday night, preview of Extreme Rules, 10 p.m. Be here or be square. Simple as that. Hopefully that's good for both of you guys. And, I already know it's good for Bullock because we talked about it earlier. Hopefully that's good for MF. So there you go. So that's it. So until Monday night for Ridiculously Raw, it's Anthony Florio here for good old MF Michael Fletcher, for Michael Bullock, and in spirit, Didi Woodson, and of course, the birthday boy himself, Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other, especially this weekend with it being Memorial Day weekend. Remember, it's not all about the cookouts and everything else. Those are nice, but what it's really about is honoring the brave men and women who sacrificed their lives for our country's freedom, and we want to honor and bless all those families and all those wonderful men and women who paid the ultimate price for our freedom. So that's what this is all about. So. And I hope we did you proud by doing this show tonight. So that's it. So until Monday night for Ridiculously Raw, you've been watching Strictly Sports right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com. For now, Anthony Florio. So long.